William Denby Hanna, July 14th, 1910 to March 22nd, 2001, was an American animator, director, producer, voice actor, cartoon artist, and musician whose film and television cartoon characters entertained millions of people for much of the 20th century. After working odd jobs in the first months of the Great Depression, Hanna joined the Harman and Ising Animation Studio in 1930. During the 1930s, Hanna steadily gained skill and prominence while working on cartoons such as Captain and the Kids. In 1937, while working at Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, Hanna met with Joseph Barbera. The two men began a collaboration that was first best known for producing Tom and Jerry. In 1957, they co-founded Hanna-Barbera, which became the most successful television animation studio in the business, creating and/or producing programs such as The Flintstones, The Huckleberry Hound Show, The Jetsons, Scooby-Doo, The Smurfs, and Yogi Bear. In 1967, Hanna-Barbera was sold to Taft Broadcasting for $12 million, but Hanna and Barbera remained heads of the company until 1991. At that time, the studio was sold to Turner Broadcasting System, which in turn merged with Time Warner in 1996. Hanna and Barbera stayed on as advisors. Tom and Jerry won 7 Academy Awards, while Hanna and Barbera were nominated for 2 others and won 8 Emmy Awards. Their cartoons have become cultural icons, and their cartoon characters have appeared in other media such as film, books, and toys. Hanna-Barbera's shows had a worldwide audience of over 300 million people in their 1960s heyday and have been translated into more than 28 languages. Early and personal life. William Hanna was born to William John and Avis Joyce Denby Hanna on July 14, 1910 in Melrose, New Mexico Territory. His father immigrated from Syria to the United States in 1909, where he met with his future Irish wife, Avis Joyce Denby. He was the third of 7 children and the only son. His father was a construction superintendent for railroads as well as water and sewer systems throughout the western regions of America, requiring the family to move frequently. When Hanna was 3 years old, the family moved to Baker City, Oregon, where his father worked on the Baum Creek Dam. It was there that Hanna would develop his love of the outdoors. The family moved to Logan, Utah before moving to San Pedro, California in 1917. During the next 2 years, they moved several times before eventually settling in Watts, California in 1919. In 1922, while living in Watts, he joined Scouting. He attended Compton High School from 1925 through 1928, where he played the saxophone in a dance band. His passion for music carried over into his career. He helped write songs for his cartoons, including the theme for The Flintstones. Hanna became an Eagle Scout as a youth and remained active in scouting throughout his life. As an adult, he served as a Scoutmaster and was recognized by the Boy Scouts of America with their Distinguished Eagle Scout Award in 1985. Despite his numerous career-related awards, Hanna was most proud of his Distinguished Eagle Scout Award. His interests also included sailing and singing in a barbershop quartet. Hanna studied both journalism and structural engineering at Compton City College, but had to drop out of college with the onset of the Great Depression. On August 7, 1936, Hanna married Violet Blanche Wagatsy July 23rd, 1913 to July 10th, 2014, and they had a marriage lasting over 64 years until his death. The marriage produced 2 children, David William and Bonnie Jean, and 7 grandchildren. In 1996, Hanna, with the assistance from the Los Angeles writer Tom Ito, published his autobiography. Joe Barbera had published his own 2 years earlier. Early career. After dropping out of college, Hanna worked briefly as a construction engineer and helped build the Pantages Theater in Hollywood. He lost that job during the Great Depression and found another at a car wash. His sister's boyfriend encouraged him to apply for a job at Pacific Title and Art, which produced title cards for motion pictures. While working there, Hanna's talent for drawing became evident, and in 1930 he joined the Harming and Ising Animation Studio, which had created the Looney Tunes and Merry Melody series. Despite a lack of formal training, Hanna soon became head of their ink and paint department. Besides inking and painting, Hanna also wrote songs and lyrics. For the first several years of Hanna's employment, the studio partnered with Pacific Title and Art's Leon Schlesinger, who released the Harming Eisen output through Warner Brothers. When Hugh Harman and Rudolph Ising chose to break with Schlesinger and began producing cartoons independently for Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM, in 1933, Hanna was one of the employees who followed them. Hanna was given the opportunity to direct his first cartoon in 1936. The result was To Spring, part of the Harman Ising Happy Harmonies series. The following year, MGM decided to terminate their partnership with Harming Ising and bring production in-house. Hanna was among the first people MGM hired away from the Harming Ising to create their new cartoon studio. During 1938 to 1939, he served as a senior director on MGM's Captain and the Kids series, based upon the comic strip of the same name, an alternate version of the Katzenjammer Kids that had resulted from a 1914 lawsuit. The series did not do well. Consequently, Hanna was demoted to a storyman and the series was cancelled. Hanna's desk at MGM was opposite that of Joseph Barbera, who had previously worked at Terrytoons. The two quickly realized they would make a good team. By 1939, they had solidified a partnership that would last over 60 years. Hanna and Barbera worked alongside animation director Tex Avery, who had created Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny for Warner Brothers, and directed Droopy cartoons at MGM. Tom and Jerry. In 1940, Hanna and Barbera jointly directed Puss Gets the Boot, which was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Cartoon Short Subject. The studio wanted a diversified cartoon portfolio, so despite the success of Puss Gets the Boot, Hanna and Barbera's supervisor, Fred Quimby, did not want to produce more cat and mouse cartoons. Surprised by the success of Puss Gets the Boot, Hanna and Barbera ignored Quimby's reticence and continued developing the cat and mouse theme. By this time, however, Hanna wanted to return to working for Ising, to whom he felt very loyal. Hanna and Barbera met with Quimby, who discovered that although Ising had taken sole credit for producing Puss Gets the Boot, he never actually worked on it. Quimby, who wanted to start a new animation unit independent of Ising, then gave Hanna and Barbera permission to pursue their cat and mouse idea. The result was their most famous creation, Tom and Jerry. Modeled after Puss Gets the Boot characters with slight differences, the series followed Jerry, the rodent who continually outwitted his feline foe Tom. Hanna said they settled on the cat and mouse theme for this cartoon because, quote, "We knew we needed two characters. We thought we needed conflict and a chase and action, and a cat after a mouse seemed like a good basic thought." The revamped characters first appeared in 1941's The Midnight Snack. Over the next 17 years, Hanna-Barbera worked almost exclusively with Tom and Jerry, directing more than 114 highly popular cartoon shorts. During World War II, they also made animated training films. Tom and Jerry relied mostly on motion instead of dialogue. Despite its popularity, Tom and Jerry has often been criticized as excessively violent. Nonetheless, the series won its first Academy Award for the 11th short, The Yankee Doodle Mouse, 1943, a wartime adventure. Tom and Jerry was ultimately nominated for 14 Academy Awards, winning 7. No other character-based theatrical animated series has won more awards, nor has any other series featuring the same characters. Tom and Jerry also made guest appearances in several of MGM's live-action films, including Anchors Away, 1945, and Invitation to the Dance, 1956, with Gene Kelly, and Dangerous When Wet, 1953, with Esther Williams. Quimby accepted each Academy Award for Tom and Jerry without inviting Hanna-Barbera on stage. The cartoons were also released with Quimby listed as the sole producer, following the same practice that he had condemned Ising. When Quimby retired in 1955, Hanna-Barbera were placed in charge of MGM's animation division. As the studio began to lose more revenue due to television, MGM soon realized that re-releasing old cartoons was far more profitable than producing new ones. In 1957, MGM ordered Hanna-Barbera's business manager to close the cartoon division and lay off everyone by a phone call. Hanna-Barbera found the no-notice closure puzzling because Tom and Jerry had been so successful. Television. During his last year at MGM, Hanna branched out into television, forming the short-lived company Shield Productions with fellow animator Jay Ward, who had created the series Crusader Rabbit. Their partnership soon ended, and in 1957 Hanna re-teamed with Joseph Barbera to produce cartoons for television and theatrical release. The two brought different skills to the company. Barbera was a skilled gag writer and sketch artist, while Hanna had a gift for timing, story construction, and recruiting top artists. Major business decisions would be made together, though each year the title of president alternated between them. A coin toss determined that Hanna would have precedence in the naming of the new company, first called HB Enterprises, but soon changed to Hanna-Barbera Productions. Barbera and Hanna's MGM colleague, George Sidney, the director of Anchors Away, became the third partner and business manager in the company and arranged a deal for distribution and working capital with Screen Gems, the television division of Columbia Pictures, who took partner ownership in the new studio. The first offering from the new company was The Rough and Ready Show, a series which detailed the friendship between a dog and cat. Despite a lukewarm response for their first theatrical feature, Loopy de Loop, Hanna-Barbera soon established themselves with two successful television series, The Huckleberry Hound Show and The Yogi Bear Show. A 1960 survey showed that half of the viewers of Huckleberry Hound were adults. This prompted the company to create a new animated series, The Flintstones. A parody of The Honeymooners, the new show followed a typical Stone Age family with home appliances, talking animals, and celebrity guests. With an audience of both children and adults, The Flintstones became the first animated primetime show to be a hit. Fred Flintstone's signature exclamation, "Yabba dabba doo!" soon entered everyday usage, and the show boosted the studio to the top of TV cartoon field. The company later produced a space-age version of the Flintstones known as the Jetsons. Although both shows reappeared in the 70s and 80s, the Flintstones was far more popular. By the late 1960s, Hanna-Barbera Productions was the most successful television animation studio in the business. The Hanna-Barbera studio produced over 3,000 animated half-hour television shows. Among the more than 100 cartoon series and specials they produced were Adam Ant, Augie Doggie, and Doggy Daddy, an imitation of the earlier Spike and Tyke MGM cartoons. Johnny Quest, Josie and the Pussycats, Magilla Gorilla, Pixie and Dixie and Mr. Jinx, Quick Draw McGraw, and Top Cat. Top Cat was based on Phil Silver's character of Sergeant Bilko, though it has been erroneously reported that Sergeant Bilko was the basis for Yogi Bear. The Hanna-Barbera studio also produced Scooby-Doo, 1969 to 91, and The Smurfs, 1981 to 89. The company also produced animated specials based on Alice in Wonderland, Jack and the Beanstalk, Cyrano de Bergerac, as well as the feature-length film Charlotte's Web, 1973. As popular as their cartoons were with 1960s audiences, they were disliked by artists. Television programs had lower budgets than theatrical animation, and this economic reality caused many animation studios to go out of business in the 1950s and 1960s, putting many people in the industry out of work. Hanna-Barbera was key in the development of limited animation, which allowed television animation to be more cost-effective, but also reduced quality. Hanna and Barbera had first experimented with these techniques in the early days of Tom and Jerry. To reduce the cost of each episode, shows often focused more on character dialogue than detailed animation. The number of drawings for a 7-minute cartoon decreased from 14,000 to nearly 2,000, and the company implemented innovative techniques such as rapid background changes to improve viewing. Reviewers criticized the change from vivid, detailed animation to repetitive movements by two-dimensional characters. Barbera once said that their choice was to adapt to the television budgets or change careers. The new style did not limit the success of their animated shows, enabling Hanna-Barbera to stay in business, providing employment to many who would have otherwise been out of work. Limited animation became the standard for television animation and continues to be used in television programs today, such as The Simpsons and South Park. Picture: Hanna, senior artist Iwo Takamoko, studio employee, and Joseph Barbera at Hanna's birthday celebration at the studio, July 14th, 1996. One of the few existing photos of the three together. In 1966, Hanna-Barbera Productions was sold to Taft Broadcasting, renamed Great American Communications in 1987, for $12 million. Hanna and Barbera remained at the head of the company until 1991. At that point, the company was sold to the Turner Broadcasting System for an estimated $320 million, which itself merged into Time Warner, owners of Warner Brothers, in 1996. This began a close association with Cartoon Network. Hanna and Barbera continued to advise their former company and periodically worked on new Hanna-Barbera shows, including the Cartoon Show, and hit silver screen versions of The Flintstones, 1994, and Scooby-Doo, 2002. Death. Hanna died of esophageal cancer at his home in North Hollywood, Los Angeles, California, on March 22, 2001. He was 90 years old. After his death, Cartoon Network aired a 20-second segment with black dots tracing Hanna's portrait with the words "We'll miss you, Cartoon Network" fading in on the right-hand side. This same sort of tribute was done for Chuck Jones in 2002 and Hanna's partner, Joseph Barbera, in 2006, when each of them died. However, Barbera, unlike the other two, had an audio clip of his voice playing in the Cartoon Network tribute. Hanna is buried at Ascension Cemetery in Lake Forest, California. Legacy. Most of the cartoons Hanna-Barbera created revolved around the close friendship or partnership. This theme is evident with Tom and Jerry, Dick Dastardly and Muttley, Yogi Bear and Boo Boo, Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble, Wilma Flintstone and Betty Rubble, Rough and Ready, the Jetsons, such as George Jetson, for example, and Scooby-Doo and Shaggy Rogers, as well as Cartoon Network characters that Hanna-Barbera created, such as Johnny Bravo and Carl, Jake Clausen Razor and Chance Furlong T-Bone, Cow and Chicken, and their schoolmates Flem and Earl, I Am Weasel and I.R. Baboon, Dexter and his supercomputers, and the Powerpuff Girls. These may have been a reflection of the close business friendship and partnership that Hanna-Barbera shared for almost 60 years. Professionally, they balanced each other's strengths and weaknesses very well, but Hanna-Barbera traveled in completely different social circles. Hanna's personal friends primarily included other animators. Barbera tended to socialize with Hollywood celebrities. Their division of work roles complemented each other, but they rarely talked outside of work since Hanna was interested in the outdoors and Barbera liked beaches, good food, and drink. Nevertheless, their long partnership, in which they worked with over 2,000 animated characters, Hanna-Barbera rarely exchanged a cross word. Barbera said, "We understood each other perfectly, and each of us had a deep respect for the other's work." Hanna is considered one of the all-time great animators and on a par with Tex Avery. Hanna-Barbera were among the most successful animators on the cinema screen and successfully adapted to change brought by the television industry. Leonard Maltin says that the Hanna-Barbera team may hold a record for producing consistently superior cartoons using the same characters year after year without a break or change in routine. Their characters are not only animated superstars, but also a very beloved part of American pop culture. End quote. They are often considered as Walt Disney's only rivals as cartoonists. Hanna-Barbera had a lasting impact on television animation. Cartoons they created often make greatest lists. Many of their characters have appeared in film, books, toys, and other media. During the 1960s, their TV shows had a worldwide audience of over 300 million people and have since been translated into more than 20 languages. The works of Hanna-Barbera have also been recognized for their music, such as the Cat Concerto, 1946, and Johann Maus, 1952, called masterpieces of animation, in part due to their use of classical music. In all, the Hanna-Barbera team won 7 Academy Awards and 8 Emmy Awards, including the 1960 award for The Huckleberry Hound Show, which was the first Emmy awarded to an animated series. They also won these awards, the Golden Globe for Television Achievement, 1960, Golden Ike Award, Pacific Pioneers in Broadcasting, 1983, Pioneer Award, Broadcast Music Incorporated, 1987, Iris Award, NATPE Men of the Year, 1988, Licensing Industry Merchandisers Association Award for Lifetime Achievement, 1988, Governor's Award of the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, 1988. Jackie Coogan Award for Outstanding Contribution to Youth Through Entertainment, Youth in Film, 1988. Frederick W. Ziv Award for Outstanding Achievement in Telecommunications, Broadcasting Division College, Conservatory of Music, University of Cincinnati, 1989. Stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, 1976. Several Annie Awards, several environmental awards, and were the recipients of numerous other accolades prior to their induction in the Television Hall of Fame in 1994. In March 2005, the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences and Warner Brothers Animation dedicated a wall sculpture at the Television Academy's Hall of Fame Plaza in North Hollywood to Hanna-Barbera. Hanna's audio of Tomcat's screams were reused in the 2014 Tom and Jerry Show. See also Golden Age of American Animation, Tom and Jerry filmography, list of works produced by Hanna-Barbera Productions, Peace on Earth, remade by Hanna-Barbera as Goodwill to Men, Tom and Jerry Awards and Nominations, Tom and Jerry the Movie. Further reading: John Colley, Jim Korkis, 1990, The Encyclopedia of Cartoon Superstars from A to Almost Z, Las Vegas, Nevada. Hal Erickson, 1987, Television Cartoon Shows and Illustrated Encyclopedia, 1949 to 1993, Jefferson City. Maurice Horn, 1980, The World Encyclopedia of Cartoons. Jeff Lindbergh, 2011, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, The Sultans of Saturday Morning. Michael Mallory, 1987, Hanna-Barbera Cartoons. Leonard Moulton, 1987, Of Mice and Magic, A History of American Animated Cartoons. External links: Warner Brothers official Hanna-Barbera website, William Hanna on IMDb, William Hanna on Find a Grave for his old grave location. This recording was created on August 13th, 2019.